This is the Peter Greenwood Show at the Edinburgh Fringe, and to my right is a gentleman. Could you tell me your name and your show title, please?
My name is Rory Marshall, and my show is called Pathetic Little Characters.
How are you today, Rory? Are you well?
I'm good. I've had my swim, I've had my sauna, I've walked over here, and now I'm extremely fatigued.
Honestly, just walking over here would have fatigued you.
Yeah, I've been doing quite a lot of walking and not enough of sort of eating and drinking water.
Yeah.
It's tiring, especially on stage. On a Sunday's show, I nearly passed out on the stage. I started getting lightheaded during a bit.
Oh no. Was it like an intense bit? How did that?
It was. Well, there's quite a lot of intensity in the show, just sort of intense characters, and I was just going for this bit, and I thought I couldn't feel my sort of, I didn't know what I was supposed to say next, and I didn't know what was happening in my head, and I sort of just like went really lightheaded, but the words were still coming out.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, I need to start concentrating on what words are coming out here, because otherwise I'm just going to start saying some nonsense. But I got through it.
That's sad. You know what I kind of describe it as? You know, there's a certain tiredness you get, particularly at night when you're kind of talking to people, but you're like, wait, what did I say? I describe it as, are you of an age where you remember video cassettes, VHS cassettes?
Yeah, I am, yeah.
Well, you know when you'd video something, but the tape would run out, but the program's still being broadcast?
Yeah.
That's what I describe it as. Like, your tape has run out, but the program's still going on.
Yeah, exactly. Sort of running on empty. It's sort of the last dregs of the fuel in the tank getting over the line, isn't it?
Yeah. So let's talk about your show. It is called Pathetic Little Characters.
Yes.
That sounds like a very specific title. That sounds like something maybe somebody said.
Correct.
What is Pathetic Little Characters?
So, the show, if I start with where the show came from basically me. This is my debut show at the Fringe, and I wanted to put together a sort of character sketch show with sort of the strongest characters that I've performed in the past, that I've maybe written and made into sketches for the internet, or just some of the selection of the strongest characters I could come up with. And by the time I had like a sort of skeleton of the show and a number of different characters, me and the director and the producers sort of noticed that all of the characters were quite pathetic individuals, specifically sort of pathetic men. But before that, when we were sort of discussing names, I said to director Will Farrell, I said, any ideas for the name? And he said, as a joke, I don't know, Pathetic Little Characters. And we went round a number of names for weeks, actually. Must have put together about 250 names. And at the end, we thought, you know what? Pathetic Little Characters works. These characters are all pathetic. I didn't intend for these characters to be pathetic. And we sort of had a laugh that pathetic sort of morons came quite naturally to me. But yeah, that's where the name came from. And the show happens to be some quite pathetic individuals.
See, I thought, going into it, reading the title, I thought it was some kind of social media comment, because I used to do a live radio show, and somebody commented, I'm listening to this absolute drivel. And so at the start of the next link, I was like, welcome back to the Peter Greenwood Show, the only show that promises to be 100% pure drivel.
Yeah. Like,
I leaned into it, so I thought, that's where Pathetic Little Characters.
Yeah, exactly. I suppose it's similar in the way that it was something that someone said, and I recognised the sort of quality of the characters and sort of just ran with it, and it happened to be something which is, being pathetic.
So when you do sketch characters, especially live on stage, is it all, how much of the script do you know going in? Is it all scripted, or do you change it up daily to talk about current events and whatnot?
I as a performer, am quite keen on knowing exactly what I should be saying, and then sort of deviate from that pretty much solely from whatever happens in the room. I mean, when I first started performing, I was incredibly nervous, and something that made me feel more confident was knowing exactly what word I was going to say. Well, I suppose it's a pretty uncool way to do it, but now I'm getting into it more. I mean, I'm performing these sketches, and they're not set in a room with 50 people in it like the Pleasance Attic, but things do happen. For example, there's one which is a teaching assistant in a test in a primary school, and so people do make noises in the room, and so I respond like the like the students, But I know, I try to know what I'm going to say, and that's something which I'd quite like to sort of move away from, because I think it would be more freeing to be like, let's see what happens. And yeah, I have done that a fair bit with some characters while here at the Fringe, so hopefully in a few weeks' time it's more fluid and more free and I'm having more fun with it.
Are you having fun with it currently?
Great question. I think I'm getting there. It's like this. I did my first hour of comedy in February, so it's all quite new, and I still get very nervous and I still feel very tense. For the first few shows, I was very tense on stage and just thinking, what if I don't forget things, and what if I forget things, and sort of a fear of the unknown of what could happen in that room over the hour. But the last couple started to have more fun with it, and and feeling I don't need to focus so much on the words I'm saying here. That's in. I know this character. I know what's going to happen in this sketch, and it's getting more dynamic is it's more fun, and being more free with it is definitely more fun. And I'm looking forward to enjoying it more and more, because I've still got that tension there. So I'm hoping to loosen up a bit more.
My old radio teacher used to tell me, if you start a show and you're not terrified at the start, you're doing something wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
so
great.
You're doing perfectly.
Yeah, because I'm absolutely terrified. Getting less terrified.
Yeah.
But it is, and that's true. Like, it is such a scary environment, and some of these characters that I'm doing are quite, there's tense moments in the sketch, and it can be a bit sort of frightening if there's some like sort of a bit like drawn out sort of monologues almost, and it's tense and there's not laughter, and that's scary. You can be like, this is quite exposing, and what's going to happen here? Luckily the audience has been great and it's got the laughter where it's supposed to, but
which is I imagine a massive relief. Like, as you said, you want to know what words you're going to hit, so when you hit a certain word you think is funny and then you hear the laugh, you're like, okay, that works. But on the flip side, when you hit something and it's crickets, that must be terrifying. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I found that the audiences here have been so lovely and receptive to the stuff that I've put together and I'm performing. But it's like, one day one bit's got an amazing response and the next day it's got nothing, and that's interesting, But also, that's taught me that don't like lose hope if one bit doesn't go well, because there's sort of an odd sort of mystical science to it where some things work and some things don't, and I found something quite comforting about having varying reactions to different bits and different days, because it means things are going to change, and you don't need to sort of give up on something if it's not going well, and sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not, and it's quite fun in that way and sort of unpredictable.
Who are some of your characters? Who is the most difficult character you play, and I don't want to say the easiest, but the one that comes most naturally to you?
Yeah. Okay. Difficult one. There's a difficult character which is a bartender. Difficult to play and also a difficult individual. That is, the character is sort of a bloke who works at a bar, thinks he's the most important person in the world, and treats the customers awfully. And I perform that, and it's tricky because it comes with an intensity. But that's quite, it's full on, and it's fast, and it's a hard one to play, but to me it's also one of the most enjoyable ones to play, because I enjoy something about playing that kind of character, like a smarmy character, but also it's quite nice as a bit to sort of expose a character which I kind of really, really dislike in real life.
Yeah, like if you met that guy, you'd be like, I am not giving you a single penny from the bottom of my shoe. You get nothing, sir, for your establishment. Yeah, exactly.
But, it's such a bad way to handle yourself, but there's still so many of them around, I find. In terms of easy characters to play, this teaching assistant character, I like playing that. That's it's a bit more theatrical. It's a bit slower. There's a bit of darkness to it, but it's also fun. I was a teaching assistant myself.
Really?
Yeah. And this character is sort of based on some individuals who acted a certain way in a school that I worked in, and yeah, I like that because it's something that I watched that teaching assistants act in this way. I watched teaching staff act in these ways, and found it really fascinating. So it's nice to be like sort of to see something and then to, you know, change it into a performance and I don't know, sort of perform something that to people that I've sort of fascinated over seeing it in real life. And there's a few of that, like the bartender ones like that, because I worked in pubs a lot, and there's other characters that are similar to that. I mean, I've got a police officer doing a press conference. I just find that fascinating when you see police officers doing that, and this character puts his own sort of spin on the police conference. And yeah, I think the characters are all sort of things, either actual people that I've met or they are little snippets of life, things people have said or things I've heard on the street. We've got a charity door knocker, a charity fundraiser, which was, I was writing another character actually and had a knock on the door and it was a charity fundraiser and he did his spiel and I found it so amazing and he was so charismatic and brilliant and I just went back in and wrote down exactly what he had said. And so yeah, it's enjoyable to sort of bring these things from real life and put them onto the stage and perform them. And for me, I find that really enjoyable.
What's the audience reaction like to some of the characters? Like, do you get the people not liking the bartender character or things like that?
That's interesting because the bartender character is a little bit of a challenging one because he's quite a sexist character. He treats the women badly because he thinks that they don't know how to order drinks in a pub. Yeah. And there is parts of this character which is like, imagine quite uncomfortable to watch because it's you know, it's nasty and misogynistic basically. And there is sometimes tension in the room, but this character comes with a sort of an explanation while I'm performing it, which is in the voice of the bartender, but the joke is very much on the bartender, and hopefully people sort of take from it that we're laughing at this bartender and sort of criticising his behaviour. But yeah, it causes some tension, as does there's many characters which cause tension across the thing. I think they're all sort of problematic in a way. You know, it being called pathetic little characters, that there's pathetic characters, but there's odd characters and there's nasty characters, and yeah, I think some of them might be quite tricky to watch, but in the same breath, it's a lot of fun, and it's like it's comedy based on those things, you know.
Is it one of those things where if you've had a difficult day, you can go in and cathartically release through these characters? I think so.
Yeah, I think so. I was discussing today with people that it's not, you know, although the characters are, you know, sort of have their flaws, it's very fun and it's fast paced and it's quick sketches and there's lots of sketches and there's lots going on and it's quite vibrant and dynamic and yeah. I mean, I'm performing it, so I won't ever watch it. but if I was, I would think like, yeah, the stakes are pretty low, I think, as well as high within the sketches. But like, you know, you keep it moving and it's good fun. And like, yeah, I think if you've had a tricky day, then it would be a great thing to watch.
Yeah. Where can people find out more about you and about the show?
Great question with a boring answer, which is probably just Instagram. Yeah, I put everything on Instagram. There's clips of sketches. If you scroll down back past all the posters from which I'm posting all the time. I suppose also the Country Mile Productions website, which I can't remember the name of, but the actual website, but I'm sure you can find it if you Google it. Yeah, they're producing the show. They're great, and they've got loads of information on there of my show and all their other acts. And I suppose also the Pleasance website. The show's at the Pleasance Courtyard in the attic, and I imagine they've got lots of information on there.
Yeah. Rory, thank you so much for your time today. It's lovely to talk to you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Rory Marshall, Pathetic Little Characters, is playing at Attic at Pleasance Courtyard at 6 o'clock every day until the 24th of August. For more tickets, go to edfringe.com and search for Pathetic Little Characters. For the Peter Greenwood Show at the Edinburgh Fringe, I've been your host, Peter. Bye, everybody, bye.